Hello and welcome to the Park Life Podcast. My name is Mike. I'm a travel agent that specializes in all things Disney, from Disney World to Disneyland, Disney Cruises to Disney Alani. This is episode 45 of the Park Life Podcast, and today we're going to talk about first timers going to Walt Disney World. And that is the location in Florida outside of Orlando. If you've never been to Disney, it can be a lot to manage. So today's episode is going to kind of cover some of the highlights of things that you want to consider and think about when planning your very first time going to Disney World. Let's start off with when to go. That is always the tough one. I love when people ask me, when's the best time to go to Disney? And my answer is, well, it depends upon what your definition of best time to go is. So things to consider when trying to figure out when to go: crowds. When is it the busiest times at Disney? When do they have special festivals, specifically at Epcot? They have festivals throughout the year. There are times in the year where there's no festival running. Obviously, the holidays are a big one. If you're a Halloween fan and that is your favorite holiday of the year, that might gear you towards going to Disney in late August, September, or October to enjoy all that they have to offer for Halloween. Likewise, if you're a Christmas fan going middle of November through December, you're going to be able to take on a lot of the green and red and the colors that and lights that make up the holidays at Christmas. And there are also different events that you might need to consider when planning. Specifically, in the first 3, 4, 5 months of the year, almost every weekend Disney has an event. It could be one of their Run Disney Marathon weekends. It could be that there's a cheer or dance event going on with hundreds, if not thousands, of families attending for that. Sometimes there are soccer tournaments, baseball tournaments, other things like that that you'll need to manage around. There are unique things like Jersey Week, typically the second week of November, where most all of the schools in New Jersey are closed for a convention for the teachers. And historically, a number of families from New Jersey will take their trip that week down to Disney World. So, a number of different factors when it comes to when to go. What I would tell you as a first timer, go when you are able to go. I'll give you an example. We're getting ready to go here at the end of May, beginning of June. Um, and it's because my daughter-in-law is a school teacher. So her opportunities to go are somewhat restricted between spring break, summer, and Christmas break. And so we opted to go at the end of May, beginning of June this year. If you have children that you don't want to take out of school, then you need to plan around that. If you've got other family functions going on, obviously you need to plan around that. I guess the bottom line I would give to you is no matter which week of the month, which month of the year you go, it'll be special and it'll work into your plan. So make the most of it. Now, this next topic is about timing. When should you book your trip? Other factors that you need to consider after you've booked your trip, like if you want to make dining reservations, if you want to book any of what's called enchanting extras, um, figuring out how to book. All of those things go into the timing of booking your trip. I did a previous post, a previous podcast, it's episode 38, where I talked about the timing of all things from booking to dining reservations, enchanting extras, booking transportation, if you need to rent a scooter, booking your lightning lanes. And if you've never been to Disney, I'm probably saying a bunch of things that you're like, huh, what? What do I need to worry about? So we'll keep on going here, but hopefully I'll touch on some of these things. And if you have questions, by any means, put them in the comments, and I will absolutely get back to you with an answer. Um, Terminology that you may or may not be aware of, but park hopping. And I bring that up because that's going to be a part of when you're booking your trip, what type of park tickets that you need to have. Park hopping is Disney's term for a ticket that gives you the ability to go between parks on the same day. Now, I should say, if you've never been to Disney World, and this is all completely unique and foreign to you, there are four different theme parks that make up Walt Disney World. The Magic Kingdom, that's the first, the original park. That's the one that has Cinderella's castle. That's what a lot of people just consider to be Disney World, but it's specifically the Magic Kingdom. Epcot was the second park that Disney opened. That is an acronym that it stands for Environmental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. There's a World Showcase, there's futuristic rides, things like that. That's where all of the festivals happen. They have a festival of arts in the January, February timeframe, a festival of, or a flower and garden festival that runs typically March, April, into early June. There's the Food and Wine Festival that typically runs late August through early November. And then there's the Festival of the Holidays that runs the day after Thanksgiving through December 30th. So that's the second park. The third park that was then open was originally called MGM Studios. It is now called Hollywood Studios. And then the fourth park is Animal Kingdom. So planning your very first time to go, figuring out when to go, how long to stay, the different parks, and then this concept of park hopping, which is a feature that can be added onto a ticket for a price. It allows you to go to two, three, or all four of the parks in the same day. Now, if you don't have park hopping, you can go to one of the parks on day one. And if you need a midday break, you can go back to your resort and rest, but then go back to that same park. You're allowed to do that. That's not park hopping. Park hopping would be going to a second park in that same day. Something to consider. Which resort to stay at? So maybe you start with, do we want to stay what's called on property inside the Disney bubble in one of the Disney resorts? Or do we want to stay off property? You need to factor that in. If you're staying off property, does that hotel or property offer transportation to and from the Disney parks? If they don't, then you're going to have to figure out how to get yourself to the parks, whether that's renting a car or taking an Uber or a Lyft. If you stay on property at Disney, there is free transportation between the parks and the resorts. The mode of transportation could be different depending on which park you're or which resort you're staying at and which park you're going to, but that's something that you need to factor in. So let's assume you're going to stay on property. Now, which resort? There are over 25 different resorts on property at Disney. They break these into three categories: value resorts, moderate resorts, and deluxe resorts. And you can probably guess simply by the name, the price jumps from value to moderate and then from moderate to deluxe. Now, that price jump brings you maybe slightly larger rooms, um, different or better amenities, maybe some new features or different features at pools as you upgrade from value to moderate, from moderate to deluxe. And then based on those categories and the resorts, the mode of transportation could be different. Some of the value resorts, you are taking a bus from your resort to any of the four parks and a bus back. A couple of the value resorts, if you're going to Hollywood Studios or Epcot, you're going to take what's called the Skyliner. It's a gondola ride. You're suspended in the air 20, 30 feet for that 8 to 10 to 15-minute ride, depending upon which park you're going to. Some of the resorts have boat transportation to a couple of the parks. So the mode of transportation could change depending upon which resort you stay at. And then location is the third item as far as figuring out which resort you want to stay at. If you have littles and you're going to spend most of your time at Magic Kingdom, Cinderella's Castle Park, you might want to stay at a resort that's more centrally located to the Magic Kingdom. For super convenience, the Contemporary Resort is a 5-minute walk to the gates of the Magic Kingdom. Super convenient. It's great if you need to take the littles back to your resort for an afternoon nap or relaxation or a dip in the pool, whatever it may be. So location can factor in. And I will tell you that most of the deluxe resorts are the ones that are closest to any one of the parks. So you've got the Contemporary that I mentioned, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian. Those are all within eyesight of the Magic Kingdom. walking distance, boat distance, or monorail distance. Boardwalk, yacht club, beach club, those deluxe resorts are within walking distance to the back entrance to Epcot. And then the Animal Kingdom Lodge is a short bus ride to the gates of Animal Kingdom. And there's some other deluxe resorts that I didn't mention, but they are in close proximity to one of the parks as well. So one of the added features to the upgraded cost of a deluxe is location. You then have to figure out which days do I want to go to which parts. You might think that that's just simple. We'll just do whatever we feel like, and you can absolutely do that. But there are certain uniquenesses that you might want to be aware of. For instance, Monday is typically a very busy day at the Magic Kingdom. As the story goes, a lot of people that travel fly down to Disney on a Sunday. They want to make the Magic Kingdom, again, that's Cinderella's Castle Park. They want to make Magic Kingdom their first park. So they travel down on Sunday, they go to Magic Kingdom on Monday. So Magic Kingdom is a park that maybe if you can, you want to avoid going on a Monday because it's pretty busy. Likewise, during festival season, Saturdays and Sundays, Epcot is incredibly busy because all of the locals who want to enjoy the festival aspects are going to go on the weekends when they're not working. So the day of the week and which park you go to can have a bearing on crowd size and experience for you. Set realistic expectations. I've been to Disney dozens of times, and there are still things that I have not done. Um, if you go assuming you're going to go for a week, let's say, and you're going to get everything done, you're not going to get everything done. So if you set realistic expectations, by the end of your vacation, you will have a very fulfilling vacation. If you think I'm going to ride every single ride and see every single show and every single parade and every single fireworks experience, by the end of your trip, you will be disappointed that you didn't, and you will feel like you didn't get your money's worth. You just simply cannot do it all. Be flexible and embrace the magic. So, a few things. First off, again, we've been dozens of times, and my wife and my kids roll their eyes every time I do this, but I do it for a reason. I ask them to tell me what are your must do rides or attractions at each of the four parks? What are the things that you would like to do? And then what are the things that if we do or don't do, it doesn't matter? That allows me to build in an agenda, if you will, to know that these six things or four things or eight things are the must do's at Magic Kingdom, at Epcot, at Hollywood, at Animal Kingdom. And we ensure that we do those early in the day so that everybody's must do's have been taken care of. Being flexible and embracing the magic. About a year and a half ago, half of the Magic Kingdom park was essentially shut down for about 4 hours. There was no electrical problem, there was no plumbing problem. A black bear found its way into the park and shimmied up a tree in part of the park. And so, for the safety of the bear, the safety of the guests, they closed off about half of the park for about 4 hours while control came and safely tranquilized the bear and removed it from the park. That is something you absolutely cannot plan for. Nobody had black bear on their bingo card that day. But if you are willing to embrace the magic and be flexible, you can pivot and go do something else and kind of reshuffle your day. You need to plan on rain. Florida is a rainy state. There are some times of the year where it's less rainy and some times of the year where it's more rainy. But you should plan on at least an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. It could be a 5 minute brief thing, it could be a half hour thing. Pack ponchos for sure. I would encourage you to go to your local Dollar Tree or Dollar General store and get the inexpensive ponchos and purchase several of them and have them on the ready when you're at the parks. This next one I cannot emphasize enough. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Don't wait until you get there to start hydrating because you'll already be behind the eight ball. Disney, especially in the summer, when I say in the summer, I'm talking from early May to early October. It can be hot. It can be incredibly humid. I've had guests that even though they knew they needed to hydrate, ended up getting dehydrated and had to spend time at the local hospital during their trip. So please hydrate. Don't wait till you get there to start. A week before, 2 weeks before, start hydrating so that your body is ready for that heat and humidity. Can't tell you how many times we've gotten off the airplane and actually, as they open the door to the airplane so that people can walk on the jetway, you can just feel the humidity consume the cabin of the airplane. The next thing in that same vein, exercise before you go. Now, I will caution as far as exercise go, depending upon your health, check with your local physician first. But by all means, exercise before you go. In a recent trip, my wife and I were there on our own. We did not bring our kids with us, so we weren't running frantically from ride to ride to ride with the kids. But in 7 days, we walked a total of 84 and a half miles. It wasn't a straight 84 and a half mile walk, but there was walking and then standing in line for a ride and then walking and standing in line for food and then standing and watching a parade or whatever it may have been. 84 and a half miles. So start walking and exercising weeks, if not months before your trip. And oddly enough, a 5 mile walk at home just doesn't seem to equate the same as a 5 mile walk at Disney. So plan accordingly. And lastly, in this same area, make sure you have comfortable shoes. Do not bring brand new shoes with you to break in while you're down there. You will be attacked by blisters from breaking in your new shoes. Make sure they're well worn, comfortable, and I encourage people to bring multiple pairs. I like to use myself as an example. I'm a tennis shoe wearing person. I don't do flip flops or sandals. I don't do Crocs. I'm a tennis shoe person. So I bring two, if not three different pair of shoes. If you are a person like me where brand doesn't necessarily matter, it's not like I have to wear brand A or I have to wear brand B. I will bring a pair of brand A shoes and a pair of brand B shoes with me, both well worn and broken in. But I do this because each shoe fits slightly differently on my foot and rubs differently on my foot. So that shoe A on day one, it's rubbing a certain spot. On day two, I wear shoe B and it rubs differently. It gives that spot that shoe A was rubbing a rest on the second day of the park. Another reason why I bring multiple pair of shoes is because, back to that thing I said earlier, it rains in Florida. My shoes will get wet. And because I wear tennis shoes, they don't dry out as quickly as Crocs or sandals or flip flops would. So having a dry pair of shoes for my second park day is invaluable. Along your planning, get to know the My Disney Experience app. You will need to download that and have it on your phone. That app will help you with wait times in the different attractions. It will give you schedules of when the shows, the parades, the different experiences like the Dapper Dans or the piano player at Magic Kingdom, the Jameters at Epcot, things like that. You want to know those things. The app also can allow you to order mobile food at the quick service locations. A great time saver for you instead of having to stand in line to order food and then wait for your food. You're placing your order. You'll then indicate in the app that you are near or at the destination. They'll get your food prepped and ready, and then you'll get a message that says your food is ready for pickup. You can also try to schedule dining and other things on the My Disney Experience app. So get to know that application. All right, you've bought your tickets, you've bought your package to go, you know which park day you're going to go to. Are you going to rope drop? Or are you not a rope dropper? If you're brand new to this concept, you might be like, I have to bring a rope with me and I have to drop it. What the heck does that mean? Rope dropping is Disney's terminology of essentially when they open up the entrance into the different areas of the park to ride the rides. A lot of people don't know this, first timers. If the park opens, say at 9 a.m., you can get into the Magic Kingdom before 9 a.m. It's not like the turnstiles open up at 9 a.m. to let people in. So if you're showing up at 9 when the park opens, you are already late. If you're staying on property, you get 30-minute early entry into the parks before non resort guests. So it's an added perk of staying on property. Again, The Kingdom opens at 9 a.m. You're staying on property, you get in at 8:30 a.m. Don't show up at the turnstiles at 8:30 a.m. You're already late. Get there at least an hour before, 7:30, 7:45, 8 a.m. at the latest to get into the parks. That's what's considered rope dropping. You are essentially opening the park, if you will, by getting there early and getting into the lines to ride the rides as soon as the attractions open up for the resort guests 30 minutes early, non resort guests at opening time. Some people are not early risers, they're not rope droppers. That's okay. Do what you're comfortable with. If you're one that likes to sleep in but stay up late, don't ruin your vacation by changing your patterns. And likewise, if you've got littles and they're always taking a nap at 2 in the afternoon, don't try to change what they're accustomed to. If they can fall asleep in the stroller, great, let them fall asleep around 2 o'clock, find some shade, find an indoor air conditioned space, and just relax for a little while. If they can't fall asleep in their strollers, then plan an afternoon break at the resort so that they can get their nap in. You'll thank yourself for sure. Cast members, the employees that work at Disney and all of the parks, those cast members, they are your friends. They are a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of help. They will steer you in the right direction, answer your questions. They work tirelessly for tens of thousands of guests every day in the park. So be kind to them, but know that they are your friends and they're there to help you. I mentioned this a little bit early on about which resort to stay at, but you'll want to understand and learn the transportation system inside the Disney bubble. Whether it's the buses, the boats, the Skyliner, or the monorail, know the schedule of when they run. So, for instance, if you're taking a bus from All Star Sports Resort, one of the value resorts, to the Magic Kingdom, it's about a 15 to 20-minute bus ride once the bus departs your resort and pulls up at Magic Kingdom. Don't walk down to the bus stop at your resort and assume you're getting on a bus immediately and that 15 or 20 minutes later you'll be walking into the Magic Kingdom. Buses run regularly about every 20 minutes. So if you get down to the bus stop and the bus just left a minute ago, you might have to stand for 15 to 20 minutes before the next bus shows up. So plan accordingly with that. Likewise, if you're at one of the resorts where you have boat transportation, it's not a constant boat parade going where you're just hopping on the next one, the next one, the next one. You may have to wait a little bit. So plan accordingly there. And also with the transportation, and I said this again early on about the resorts, there are some resorts that sit on the Skyliner route, and your only mode of transportation to Hollywood Studios and to Epcot at those resorts is via the Skyliner, unless the Skyliner is not operating, whether it's down for maintenance, refurbishment, or if there's storms in the area, they may stop running it for a period of time. Assume it's open and assume you will be riding it. And I bring this up especially for our first time guests. If you've never been and you have a fear of heights, or somebody in your family has a fear of heights, you may want to steer away from the resorts that are on the Skyliner route because you will be faced with either having to ride the Skyliner and face your fear of heights or spend money to get an Uber or a Lyft to get you to those parks. Important to know that. In all four of the Disney parks, they offer free ice water at all of the quick service or table or counter service locations. So you can save a lot of money not buying the $4 or $5 bottles of water and getting free ice water. Bring your own container so that you can pour it in. They give you small-ish cups. I usually get two of those for myself, and I can dump those into my drink container, and then I'm good to go for a while. Likewise, you can bring in your own food. So, at a minimum, I would say bring snacks in so that you're not buying a pretzel and popcorn and a Dole Whip and a this and a that every 2 hours because you're hungry. Save a little bit of money, bring in some snacks. If you really want to be budget conscious, you can bring in food. You can pack sandwiches and chips and things like that and bring that into the park as well. They allow that free of charge. Again, for our first timers, if you're there celebrating something, a birthday, an anniversary, a wedding, something special, it can be anything. One year I celebrated being cancer free for 10 years. Another time I celebrated being able to be at the parks shortly after having another medical experience. whatever it may be, celebrating graduation from high school, graduation from college, getting engaged, getting a new job. Disney loves to celebrate. You can get free celebration buttons. They have specific ones for birthday, for anniversary, for wedding, and then they have ones that are just, I'm celebrating, and you can write in what you're celebrating and wear them proudly. Cast members will congratulate you on your anniversary, wish you a happy birthday, congratulate you on what you're celebrating. Occasionally, you might get what's called pixie dusted with a special gift. One year, my wife and I were there. I think we were celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. We had our buttons on proudly, and we were gifted a free picture frame at one of the shops as a token of their uh, gratitude towards us being there celebrating our anniversary. The last thing I'm going to say, as far as first timers go, if you know a travel agent, family member, or friend, or you've gotten to know somebody through these channels, by all means, I would encourage you to work with them. Most travel agents do not charge you a fee for booking your Disney trips. Disney pays the agent's commission off of those book trips, so it should not cost you any money out of pocket. You can utilize their experience, their knowledge, their resources to help alleviate a lot of the stress that goes into planning a trip. I like to say, I'm here to help you in any possible way with a couple of exceptions. I won't come and pack your suitcase for you. And when the trip's over, I will not come and do your laundry for you. But outside of that, I'm happy to help you with just about any and every facet of the trip. If I can alleviate the anxiety and the nervousness of a brand new trip somewhere to a place that you're not familiar with, so that you can enjoy the experience and really embrace the magic, I'm happy to do that. But again, if you have a family member or a close family friend that's a travel agent, then rely on them. What I want is for you to get the benefit of working with somebody that knows Disney, but be comfortable and confident in who you're working with. That is it for today's episode 45 on first time to Walt Disney World. I'm sure there's probably another 25 to 30 minutes of stuff I could talk about. There's a lot to cover. By no means is this the extensive, inclusive list of things, but there are a lot. Hope this has helped. If you have comments, by all means, please share them in here. I'd love to get back to you with answers to any of your comments or questions. This is the Park Life Podcast. I drop these Monday mornings on YouTube at about 5 a.m. Eastern Time. If you're away from your phone, computer, or tablet, you can listen to the podcast on Spotify on the Park Life Podcast channel. Great opportunity to hear a little Disney talk while you're driving to work, taking the kids to school, running errands, or maybe out on a walk yourself. We also do live Park Live podcast every Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. I answer your questions. I share the week's Disney news, if there's any new promotions. And then we have a little fun interaction with games or questions that I ask the folks that are on the live stream with me. If you want to reach out to me, you can get me on my personal connections on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Mike_Disney Travel, all one word, or on Facebook at Mike's Magical World Vacations. I would love to help you and your family make magic at Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruises, or Alani. That's it for today. I appreciate you joining. Hope you have a great day today and an even better tomorrow. As I like to say, when you wake up tomorrow, it will be a great day to be alive. That's it. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week. Bye bye.